Hello there and welcome to another edition of I Am Port, and I hope that you have been enjoying, because last week we came to you all the way from Burkina Faso. We were at the Dakola border of Burkina Faso. This week again, folks, we're coming to you live from Hamle. I'm standing in Burkina Faso, Hamle, but just beyond where it says welcome to Ghana, that barrier there, then you enter Ghana, Hamle. So this week we'll be taking you down the Hamle to Techiman corridor, also coming from the Paga to Hamle corridor. That's the Navrongo Tumu stretch. We'll be telling you a lot about the custom barriers on that stretch and whether indeed customs have complied to that particular directive by the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. But before then, His Excellency the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was at the port of Tema this week. He inspected the port expansion project that's going on, also got update on the paperless project that was implemented beginning 1st of September. And he again applauded the Director General of the Port Authority as well as the management of the Port Authority for overseeing a number of good projects as well as reform works in the port to make it the best ahead of its competitors.
President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has commended the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Paul Asarienta, and his entire management team and staff for a tremendous job done at Ghana's ports. According to the President, the Acting Director General, Paul Asarienta, has impressed him with his supervision on the paperless project implementation and his commitments to safeguard national revenue.
Huge transformation. Long roman. Only paperless. Many of
the President, who was addressing a large crowd in the Tema metropolis as part of his Greater Accra tour, also assured that he will support Ghana's Ports Authority to grow, to provide jobs and take revenue for the nation. The President and his entourage then visited the Tema port to inspect the ongoing Tema port expansion site and also learn at first hand the state of the paperless port operations systems. Here, the President and his entourage were briefed by Mohammed Samar, CEO of MPS, on the progress of work regarding the $1.5 billion Tema Port expansion project.
MPS and GPHA went hand in hand to lift the productivity of vessels from about 16 moves an hour on average, almost close to 70, and we hit 90 in many occasions, thanks to the continued investment in equipment and training and manpower development.
In his response, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, expressed his excitement over the level of developments going on in the port, particularly the expansion projects. He said it will be a milestone reached by Ghana should the projects be completed and serve its intended purpose.
We're committed to a very rapid development of our country, especially its industrial and agricultural sectors. And if it's going to make sense, the infrastructure we need to support that development is very, very key. And this is one of them. That we would have at our disposal in this country a first-class port, modern, capable of receiving the biggest vessels in the world, and allowing us to accelerate the pace of our development and of our exchanges. It's a major intervention that collectively, yourselves, your partners, and GPHA are making on behalf of our country.
He praised Ghana's ports for being proactive in staying above the competition in the sub-region.
I'm aware that some of our neighbors are also undertaking important port developments in Côte d'Ivoire. I've been told that there's a major development that is taking place in San Pedro. and then of course there is also in Lemo. The Lemo facility I've actually seen myself. But I'm not sure that many of them will be any more advanced or up to date than what I'm seeing here.
The President and his entourage also called on the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Tema Sector, where he was received by the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Kofi Inti, Director General of GPHA, Paul Asariensa, Commissioner of Customs, Isaac Krento, Director of Tema Ports, Edward Osei, managers of the Port Authority and officers of Customs. The Commissioner General of GRA, Emmanuel Kofi Inti, in a speech highlighted that although there have been challenges with regards to revenue mobilization, the GRA have emerged successful in their duties due to government reforms put in place.
However, the authority can confidently say that it is on course thanks to the introduction of the three major initiatives of the government announced by His Excellency the Vice President in May 2017 to ensure trade facilitation and revenue maximization.
The President expressed appreciation for the efforts exhibited by Customs to support the country's growth through revenue mobilization.
When we speak about wanting to build a Ghana beyond aid, what we are saying is that we should become like all the progressive countries in the world, a country that depends on its own resources to buttress its own development. Not a country going around.
The President also suggested that the already existing partnership between government and the agencies at the country's ports be made stronger to achieve desired national growth and development.
So aside the visit by the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, also the Parliamentary Select Committee on Roads and Transport was in the port. They also inspected a couple of projects and also met with the Port Authority and expressed a lot of excitement over what they have seen the Port Authority supervising.
Members of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Roads and Transport have paid a working visit to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to familiarize themselves with ongoing activities there. Members of the committee were received by the Acting Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Paul Asariensa, his management staff, and the Chief Executive Officer of Meridian Port Services, Mohammed Samara. The purpose of the visit was for the committee to get themselves acquainted with the projects underway at the port, the progress made so far, and the challenges being faced that may require the intervention of government.
Our mandate being to assist the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, the Ministry of Rural Development, and the Ministry of Aviation to succeed in the day-to-day activities that this ministry and the agencies and departments and other ministries performed.
The Acting Director General of GPHA, Paul Asariensa, highlighted the projects underway, such as the ongoing paperless system and the Tema Port expansion, among others.
Some of this foreign funding makes it very difficult for Ghanaian companies to be practically involved in development of these facilities. One of the ways that we have decided to adopt to offset some of these costs and some of these challenges is to develop a port development fund, is to come up with a port development fund, which will provide us with sustainable means of funding port infrastructure, port modernization.
The Chief Executive Officer of Meridian Port Services, Mohammed Samara, explained that on the Tema Port Expansion project, about 100 hectares of land has been reclaimed, with more reclamation works ongoing.
We're building 1,400 meters of quay wall, 1.5 kilometers more or less, with the revampment and this. And we are reclaiming in phase 187 or
around 100, including the common infrastructure.
I mean, about 100 hectares of land is currently being created, and honestly, it is quite a significant operation at the moment.
Members of the committee proceeded to the Tema shipyard, where the General Manager for Business Development there, Alex Tokonu, gave a history and main business activities of the Tema shipyard. She said in spite of the deplorable state of equipment at the shipyard, GPHA's takeover has resulted in some positive results for the shipyard.
We have handled 28 vessels so far, and these are big vessels. These are not small vessels at all. And each time the owners have come back to say, we did not think that you could do it. We are very delighted and very impressed about the job. So we believe that a little push for this yard will create jobs for this nation, will lead to training and development for local capacity building. The yard will be able to contribute its quota when it comes to taxes and duties to government.
The chairman of the committee, Samuel Ayepe, pledged the commitment of the committee to the management and staff of the Tema shipyard. The committee were taking through some principal areas of the port, including the fishing harbour, the various key sites in the port, and the Tema port expansion site, among others.
So this week, a lot of visits to the Port Authority. The Director General of the BNI was also in the port, acquaint himself with the activities that are going on in the port, and again applauded the Port Authority for putting in place a lot of security measures that has reduced drastically the pilfering, the extortion, and also a lot of unethical practices in and around the port.
The Director General of the Bureau of National Investigations, BNI, has commended Ghana's Port Authority unwavering commitment to providing a supportive atmosphere for BNI to assume its role in the port to protect national assets and state revenue. The BNI boss, who made his first visit to the Port Authority after assuming office, said he was exceptionally impressed by efforts that have been made by the Port Authority in addressing unethical practices, including extortion, pilfering, and all other forms of corrupt activities in the port.
I see in you a change attitude in the scheme of things as far as GPHA is concerned, and we hope that this spirit decor that you have shown here, and your capacity to even inspire us with revelations about actions you have taken so far, is a clear indication that we are good to go.
He urged the Port Authority to continue to collaborate with the BNI, as it has always been between the two institutions, to completely eliminate potential threats in the port, since the port is a major national asset.
We also looking at this area as a very important, critical national asset. Because if GPHA should go down today, I don't know what exactly will happen to Mother Ghana. So it's important that all key facilities are secured in a manner that we will be able to beat our chest and say, fine, so far so good. We have the agenda all right, and we are moving towards the desired goals. So when I talk about critical facilities, you know them. They are all over the place.
Paul Ansa vouched for a deeper collaboration with the BNI, especially with the sharing of intelligence in order to further facilitate security procedures at the ports.
One of the outcomes of our collaboration with the BNI, the Navy, National Security and other security agencies led to the arrest of these pirates who hijacked the oil vessel. And since then there has not been any attempt, because it sent a very strong signal that our territorial waters is no-go area for pirates operating freely elsewhere.
He assured that the Port Authority would remain cooperative with the BNI to perform its mandate of ensuring national security at the country's ports.
We are here to support each other to ensure that the national interests and the professional interests are all protected to a very large extent, while the customers who transact business in the port also feel welcome and are always desirous of coming back to transact business with us.
The BNI team were taking on a tour of the port's expansion project and also the new 450 megawatts capacity car power batch located in the fishing harbour. The group also visited the office of the Assistant Commissioner of Customs Felix Mate Kojo and the new Tema Port expansion site.
Let me take you away from the ports itself and let's get on to the transit corridor, because a lot of things are happening. There was a directive to get all the custom barriers off, except those that are mandated by ECOWAS. The Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, announced as part of the 3 executive directives to bring efficiency to the port business that no custom barrier should exist on the transit corridor. The customs people made a case that, there are some ECOWAS approved barriers that need to be on the corridor because they protect even the interest of the cargoes and then the drivers on the corridor themselves. Yes, so those are allowed to be there. And the Commissioner of Customs says about 3 of those are supposed to be on the corridor. So we decided to ply the route, the transit corridor, to see whether indeed the directive of His Excellency the Vice President is being adhered to, whether only those ECOWAS approved custom barriers are on the stretch. We began our journey all the way from Burkina Faso. Take a listen.
The Vice President on May 17, 2017, announced 3 major policy directives as part of efforts to make Ghana's ports efficient. The directives included having a joint and mandatory inspection at Ghana's ports, implementing 100% paperless systems at the ports, and finally, removing all custom barriers on the transit corridor to allow free movement of transit goods along the corridor. Iron Port, however, decided to gauge the level of compliance of the directives across board. This time our focus was mainly on the removal of custom barriers on the transit corridor, as the paperless and joint inspection successfully took off with much publicity. Indeed, our journey from Tema Port revealed that almost all custom checkpoints had been eliminated, with the exception of 3, which are said to be ECOWAS-approved barriers, as confirmed by the Commissioner of Customs Isaac Krentel when addressing Burkina Faso drivers.
Because of interstate ECOWAS convention, they have to maintain 4. That is the central corridor from Tema to Pada, and we have 2 on it. That is Ahinkro, Offenso, Ahinkro. There's 1 there. Any other checkpoint is illegal.
However, the same could not be said for other transit routes like the Techiman to Hamile corridor. On this corridor, the Iron Port team discovered about 4 customs checkpoints, which appeared to be very active from Paga to Hamile and Hamile to Techiman alone. The first customs checkpoint was between Navarongo and Paga before the main customs barrier at Paga. Here officers were seen very active and the Iron Port team interacted with them. The next custom barrier was the Kondioko customs checkpoint in Banu, right after the Banu Bridge on the Navarongo-Tumu Road. Here again, officers were seen very active there. One of the officers, popularly referred to as Champion Kofi by the people of Banu, who spoke to Iron Port, said the directive needs to be reconsidered because the customs presence there, as such border towns, prevented smuggling of all kinds and other illegal activities.
Now this is the time this man gives them a smuggling. Me, I'm from Kumasi before you. I know this smugglers all.
The next customs checkpoint the Iron Port team found was at Kulmasa after Nyoli, close to Wa, the Upper West Regional Capital. Here again, officers in uniform were found engaging in the usual customs duties. The team finally discovered the last customs checkpoint at Bole in the Bole Bamboy district of the Upper West region. Here, several trucks stopped as they approached the checkpoints and sent their documents to custom officers who were at post to collect, inspect, and stamp them.
Custom or police? Custom. Do I know police?
Police. Police.
When contacted, the Commissioner of Customs Isaac Krentel said the officers are not supposed to be at post in those checkpoints and instructions have been issued through the sector commander to close all such checkpoints. Indeed, until the officers at these checkpoints are reassigned and the buildings converted to different uses, The directive to remove all, and the emphasis is on all, customs barriers in the corridor will be a mirage.
So we've seen some of those custom posts that are still around and the excuses that were given, but the Commissioner of Customs himself says, you know, all those ones, they are not functioning, and that he's ordered them to close it down. Indeed, they are closed down. The officers there, they are going to be reassigned elsewhere, and those posts are no longer existing. That's coming from the Commissioner. We continue to thank Customs for their collaborations as far as ensuring effective trade, particularly the Commissioner himself, Mr. Isaac Krentel, always working so hard to make sure that everything is in order for trade efficiency and trade facilitation in this country. You remember last week he asked all the Goro boys to stop being the intermediary between the custom officers as well as the transit truck drivers. Again, another institution that is doing so well, trying to let the corridors be clean for proper transit trade, is the Ghana Shippers Authority as well as the Borderless Alliance. Now this week they had a long tour of the entire corridor from Tema all the way down to Paga to assess the level of harassment on the road and also engage stakeholders.
The Ghana Shippers Authority, in collaboration with the Borderless Alliance with the support of allied institutions like the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, has organized a roadshow for haulage truck drivers at the Black Star Line in Tema. The roadshow was to bring to the fore the myriad of challenges associated with the road transportation of cargo on Ghana's corridor, as well as the problems faced by haulage truck owners and drivers. Stakeholders present were the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Police Service, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, USAID Advance, USAID West Africa Trade and Investment Hub, West Africa Food Markets Program, Ghana Highway Authority and ECOWAS Brown Card Secretariat. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benonita Bismarck, in a speech delivered on her behalf, pledged her outfit's commitment to improving Ghana's transit corridor.
Considering all the global and national efforts being made to facilitate import and export trade in recent times, Ghana's road corridor cannot remain the weakest link in the logistics chain.
The national president of the Borderless Alliance, Saeed Hamid, said the free movement of goods and people is an important component of economic growth and that Ghana is well positioned to become the true gateway for West Africa with better management of its corridor from the seaports to the borders and beyond.
To get there, we need to take a closer look at the realities on the ground. For example, some of the charges that are being levied on goods entering or leaving or transiting our country are redundant and make trade through our country unnecessarily expensive.
The Director of Tema Port, Edward Osei, expressed the readiness of the Port Authority in making Ghana a leading container hub and the beacon of trade and industry in West Africa.
We listened to your concerns and your cries. That is why we went to Paga just to observe what was going on. And as of now, we have dealt with the issue at Paga, and hopefully that will help your activities improve and become better.
Meanwhile, the road governance caravan, which continued along the Tema-Paga corridor, aimed at educating and sensitizing stakeholders on key issues concerning the movement of cargo along the corridor, strengthening the political will to eliminate inefficiencies and fight police harassment, continued on the transit corridor to Paga. According to the Ghana Shippers Authority, it has over the years introduced innovative programs and consistently partnered with relevant stakeholders to resolve shipping and logistics challenges that retard trade facilitation.
So we will continue to collaborate with our partners, the Borderless Alliance and other stakeholders, to ensure that going forward all the changes that are necessary, all the collaborations that will be able to enhance the free movement of goods along the corridor, we make sure that it is done. Because for us, we believe that at the end of the day, if trade is reduced in terms of the cost of trade, if it is reduced, we'll be doing so much to help the economy and our individual shippers.
The trade facilitation specialist at the Borderless Alliance Ghana, Bright Senam Gowonu, commended the advocacy and free movement of goods on the corridor.
The mining trucks taking clinker from the port of Takrari are paying 100 Ghana cedi at each police checkpoint between Tamale and Bogatanga. We believe that such practices are not suitable in making our corridor very competitive. Okay. It is not in favor of the government effort of creating a borderless region where Ghana will be at the center of economic development.
Indeed, several efforts are being made by all actors to ensure that we have effective trade facilitation in our country to continue to make Ghana stay on top of its neighbors. Iron Port returns after the break as we wish stakeholders well.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold synthetic oil and any quality Gold oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold synthetic oil.
We are a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Goil.
Ashene Pankasa. Goil, good energy.
Utiliser les ports de Tema et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières.
Les femmes, à vous les honneurs.
Les ports de Tema et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Welcome back from the break. Still watching Iron Port, and this time around we're coming to you live from Hamile border in Burkina Faso. Just across is the Hamile border in Ghana, and people, a lot of news and activities are happening in and around the ports and maritime industry. All up next.
The leading oil marketing company in Ghana, GOIL, which continues to make great strides in the bunkering industry with the completion of marine gas oil tanks at the port of Takoradi to supply vessels with fuel, has held a marketing executive meeting to review sales performance for the second quarter of the year 2017, strategize and have immediate contact with customers. The fuels marketing manager of GOIL, Marcus Diodake, explains the essence of the meeting as it will reinforce policies, come up with enormous safety concerns, sharpen skills of team players, and have them operate in a safety secured environment.
The market dynamics are changing with these developments of fake products all over the country and safety concerns. There's a need to continually sharpen the skills of our team, who are the frontline staffs of the company, so that they can be on top of the competition. Don't forget, the essence is to ensure that our customers enjoy good services at GOIL stations. You know, it is our objective that we operate in a safe, secured, and environmentally friendly manner.
He added the way forward for the year 2018 and how GOIL is prepared to consolidate its gain in the competitive oil marketing industry.
It's not going to be easy. As we already know, a number of smaller OMCs are folding up and mergers and acquisitions are taking place. That is going to change the dynamics in the industry from 2018, and competition is going to be tougher. It's now going to be the big boys dictating the pace in the industry, and as market leaders we are determined to remain the market leaders 2018 and beyond.
Also, let me bring to your notice that there have been few diversions around the Harbour roundabout when you get to Tema. So the Harbour roundabout is the one that you see the Melcom sign there, That's when, before you get into the transit terminal at the Tema Harbour, there's a lot of broken pavement here and there, and the road itself is not in good shape. The Port Authority has taken it upon themselves, and the civil department are doing a lot of civil works around that roundabout beginning Monday, this Monday. So they are cautioning you that there will be a lot of diversions. You choose the diversion that best suits you. Is going to be run on the television. You can also see them on Iron Port, and over there too, when you get to the roundabout, the signs are showing you where to pass and where not to pass. If you can by any means avoid that roundabout, please avoid it just for this week and the next, by which time we will fix Harbour roundabout just for your interest and for the interest of motorists.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority would like to bring to the attention of motorists and the general public that there will be repair works to damaged sections of the Tema Main Harbour roundabout from Tuesday, 14th November 2017. Motorists are advised to adhere to the road diversion and implementation plan for the repair works and paving of Tema Main Harbour roundabout. Phase 1, road to be closed at the Main Harbour Taxi Station junction on Tuesday, 14th November 2017. Therefore, vehicles coming from the Mankwadi roundabout to the Main Harbour would have to turn right at the Taxi Station junction. Phase 2, road to be closed at the Post Office traffic light and at Saviour Guest House on 20th November 2017. Temporary access will be given to vehicles going to Site 17 towards Saviour Guest House. Also, vehicles coming from the Post Office to the Main Harbour will turn right at the traffic light towards the MTN office area. Phase 3, road to be closed at Harbour traffic light at the Transit Terminal junction on the 26th November 2017. Therefore, long vehicles on the Meridian GPHA headquarters road will turn left at Kazan's gas filling station. Phase 4, road to be closed at Cocos Impex filling station bypass junction on 2nd December 2017. Therefore, vehicles coming from the Newtown junction will be diverted through the Cocos Impex filling station bypass. Motorists and the general public are to note that roadworks will only be done at night.
When cleaning your vehicle by valeting, steaming, waxing or polishing, make sure the engine is also sound. Servicing your vehicle with Gold Synthetic Oil and any quality Gold Oil massages the engine, removes deposit, protects it from wear and tear for longer lasting performance, and makes your vehicle feel pampered. Made for diesel and super engines. Remember, after every 15,000 kilometers of enjoying your ride, service your engine with Gold Synthetic Oil.
We are a champion. That's why I, Azuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion and a patriot, always choose Goil.
Ashene Pankasa. Goil, good energy.
Again, schedules of vessels that are sitting in the port, those that are at anchorage and carrying those transit goods there, also those expected in the coming week, and the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you need to know for this week are all next on your screens. So next week we are going to be tackling another important subject that we have been following throughout the entire year. Somebody came to complain to us that 12 40-footer container filled with 3 sets of cranes were missing in the port. I told you that we found some bit of resolution to that story. We've gotten very deep and far, and we will be updating you. We need to get the nail where it should be nailed, and we'll tell you where things have gone right and where things have gone wrong. Definitely, we need to sanitize this business. We will be bringing you that story in the coming episode of Iron Pod. We'll be hearing from all the stakeholders involved in this, including the Commissioner, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority Director General, and everybody involved in this story. We thank you for watching the program. We also have to say a big thank you to all those who have made our trip down to Burkina Faso, also down to Ghana, very possible. And we appreciate you a lot. We have to say a big thank you to the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Shippers Authority, also the Director General, the numero uno Director General of Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Mr. Paul Asariansa. His able General Manager for Corporate Affairs and Marketing, Madam Esther Jebidonko. Also the Commissioner of Customs, Mr. Krentel. You're a very good man. We say thank you. And then Commander of the Marine Police, Mr. Enchia Bebio, very good man. All these people always working tirelessly to make sure that the port business grows in this country. And I know that the Vice President watches this program a lot. Seriously, Alaji, your men have really worked. And, think of the fact that they've been driving, on the street, on the road, dark places, midnight and all of that. This is the job they've done to make sure that business in our country grows. I have to say a big thank you to my entire crew as well. Michael Fumi, we are also Robert Nyantechi, Godwin Kabute, Solomon Anderson, Joe Lavo, Joe Bone, Flavia Mwesi, Grace Atrako, Portia Bura, Belinda and Lawrence, the executive producers of the program, as always, Abna Sewa Opokufosu and Madame Esther Jebidonko. Thank you for watching.